Hello YouTube, this is Colonel Popcorn coming at you again from the audio realm. Today we're going to talk about, we're going to review actually, the Halo graphic novel by Marvel. Um, I bought this couple weeks or months ago. It's a book. It's not a graphic novel. It is if you go by the graphic novel being a original story written in a book and not a comic book, not a serialized format. But it's really more like a Halo anthology. So we're going to break down the stories one by one. And the first one is called Last Voyage of the Infinite Succor by Lee Hammock and Simon Bisley. I believe Simon Bisley's on art. Uh, I like this story, but the art isn't very good. Simon Bisley or whoever the artist is draws the flood like these really weird colors, like they're purple and they're blue and they're orange and green and stuff like that. And that's not how the flood look. They're like gray and I don't know, but it's kind of cool. But it's not. It doesn't fit with the tone of the story at all. But it's the longest one and it's probably the best one. It's just the art. And I think like the first couple panels were really, yeah, the first couple panels are really hard to make out. Not the Master Chief bit at the beginning or the infinite. It's the training bit with the elites, Half Jaw and the elites. Uh, it, like you'll see them overlapping the panels. Yeah, it becomes really hard to follow. But it's an okay action comics. It's a pretty good story. I don't see how Half Jaw lost half of his jaw in this. I just don't. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'd give it a 7.5, 7 out of 10. And then we come to armor testing, which is okay. Uh, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's just them showing how the armor gets tested and stuff like that. I do like how the Spartan jumps out of the plane, uh, not plane, spaceship in orbit, and then starts firing on the guys with the sniper rifle before she hits the ground. That was cool. So it's average, 5 out of 10. And then we come to Breaking Quarantine, and this is, while a great action comic, has no dialogue, and it doesn't really need it, but it's supposed to tell the story of how Sergeant Johnson got out of being infected by the flood. And you could sum it up in the sentence, Johnson gets in, uh, flood happens, Johnson starts running, gets out. That's pretty much it. So, like I said, it's a good action comic. There's a lot, like, the art is really good. He draws, what's his name? Uh, Tsutomu Nike, I believe it is. He does really, really good art in this story. He draws the flood like I would really expect them to in, in comic books. I really like his take on the flood. And then we come, oh, well, let's give it a score. 6 out of 10. Yeah. And then we come to Second Sunrise over New Mombasa. The panel layout on this sucks. The story is okay. I don't really get it. It's just a guy saying, I'm gonna die, and I did horrible things, and I'm sorry. And that's it. So, 4 out of 10. And then we come to the gallery. The gallery is probably the best part of this, and I would buy the $25 hardcover for this alone. No, I wouldn't, but it's a heavy price to pay for such a lot of cool takes and a lot of cool art. Some of them aren't that good, but like the there's one that I'd like. Well, there's several that I'd like to take out and hang up on my wall. The art gallery is really, really good. And then at the end, there's some interviews, or actually, there's a letters page. I thought that was a nice touch. That was really funny. It's actually forum messages about a comic book that didn't exist until they actually said something. Overall, I'd give this book a 6 out of 10. That's not an average or anything. If you want to average it out, that's probably a better score, but it's not worth $25, but it is good. If they ever release this in softcover, you should get it if it's cheap enough. Or you should just buy it on Amazon used or something. It's a good read. You won't be disappointed. 6 out of 10. Goodbye, YouTube. Hello, YouTube. This is the Good Colonel again, coming at you again from his audio realm. Today we're going to be talking to you about, I'm going to be talking to you about Halo Uprising, the Marvel 4-issue miniseries by Brian Michael Bendis, with art by Alex Maleev, I believe. That rhymed. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. This comic has... The story is about... It's not about Master Chief. There are some action bits with Master Chief in it, and I think that those action bits should have been put into a one shot, and the rest of the ideas in this comic should have been like a book written by Brian Michael Bendis, because the dialogue in this is so forced and so rushed. It doesn't feel real at all. The two main characters, there's a girl and a guy, and they get fired upon, and all of a sudden they're running into each other's arms, and it's like, no, that's not gonna happen. I don't care how dramatic your situation is. But then again, the story itself, not exactly the characters, but the story itself is really good. I really like the story in this. There's a really surprising plot twist about midway through, and that drives the story forward from there. So the first two issues out of these four issues are not that great, but if you can get past those two issues, which I don't think you'll have a problem with it. It's not that bad. The art's pretty good too. Okay. Here's some bad dialogue. It's not even a dialogue. It's a monologue. In fact, they have a whole page of monologuing from the main girl character, and I don't think you should have that much monologuing in a comic book. Or if you do, you should spread it out. Because I kind of like that. I read some Flash stuff, and like Golden Age Flash, and that was pretty good. Yeah, but back on topic. You should have no problem getting through. This is a better comic than the Halo graphic novel. I'll call it the Halo graphic anthology. Because it's an anthology, not a graphic novel. It's a much better comic. Really good action bits. Like, this was the first comic that made me say, wow, this action is really good. And I like action comics now. But if you can find it for cheap, like I found at Fry's Electronics for 16 something, it's a good buy. It may not have been 16, it may have been like 20. But it's a good buy. I would buy it. I did buy it. And I wasn't that disappointed with it. I reread it like once. It's good. Still good after, one read. Unlike the Halo graphic novel. So I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. And this is Colonel Popcorn signing off, YouTube.